How do you choose your teachers? Like, what is your standard? If you're a male, for example, can you only listen to males? And if a female is dropping some wisdom, you just shut off? Or if you're a female, can you only listen to other females? Does their accent get in the way? Is it their race? Maybe they're a little bit too dark for your liking, or maybe a bit too light for you to understand their content. How about age? Are they too old to get you, or are they too young to have any wisdom? Or maybe you have associated a stereotype with the way they look. That's it. They remind you of somebody, they look like an actor you don't like, and that's it. Now that you've associated that stereotype, your brain blocks you from listening to anything that they say. You just can't move beyond it. Or do you need a certain amount of status to be shown? For example, a suit, a particular suit that they need to be wearing, branded clothing, sunglasses. They might need to tell you their credentials before you even listen to them. Are these the kind of checklists you have before listening to a teacher or looking out for wisdom? And do any of these have any basis to them? Let's have a reality check. Yes, sometimes it is important that the person has credentials. If you're going through surgery, you would like, you go for a heart surgery, you don't want somebody who's a specialist in tendons, So yeah, it is important to look at credentials depending on the scenario. Or for example, you're looking for a job mentor. You want somebody who's in your field, who knows how your field works. Or if it's a gender health issue, for example, some biological issue, you would like to hear, if a female listens to a female about female issues, it makes sense. And you would pick somebody with those similarities to you. So sometimes we need to look for someone who is similar to us, but should it stop right there? Especially when we're talking about life, about growing as a human being. So here we're no longer looking at expertise and niches and things like that, where your choice naturally has to be towards the thing that brings you and that person together. If we're now looking at human being issues, can you only learn wisdom or these things just by people who are similar to you? As you're growing in life, for example, I got into music based on a lot of what my father used to listen to. So I would, I remember my dad, he'd be like, listen to this band, they're good. And I got to music through that. But do I stop there? If my dad didn't listen to this, I don't listen to anything anymore. There's a starting point, and then from there you expand. You get better, yeah, cool. I heard this from dad, and I heard this from my friends, but then you start expanding more and more. You don't just say, I learned this kind of music and that's it, I stop there. As you grow and mature, so too should your openness. So you grow and mature as a person, your life experiences, and then you actually open up more. And in all this, there's a hint. The more closed your ego is, the less you're going to venture in life. The more open it is, the more you'll venture. It's a reflection of you. If you believe that wisdom lives in only the likes of you, you're in for a shock. When you're looking for teachers, are you stuck in a particular era? For example, I can only listen to people of my era. What does Plato know? What does Aristotle know? What does Carl Jung know? Hey, those guys were around too long ago. Are you stuck in a particular era? When you listen to music, for example, are you stuck in a particular era? You can only listen to your era. So you're not really listening to music, you're listening to your era. A lover of music will listen to anything and then give it a go and go, you know what, that sat with me. Let's see how it makes me feel. See? At that point, you're becoming more open. Same thing with reading. Do you only read your era? There's a lot of things that are geared against us. Stereotypes of eras. This is the way they thought back then. Look at the way they dress. And then there becomes a stereotype against it. But in all those stereotypes, something is happening, and that's closing you up. Of course, the media needs to make fun of the past, When they do that, they can market to you what's now. They can even market the past. There are people who are in the world, I'm not going to mention any names, but they're stuck in their past, and they think old is gold. Though sometimes that, there is gold in old, but gold exists everywhere. So if you just, generalize, I only like people who lived 1,000 years ago, they were all much better. I only like people who lived in the 60s. You're limiting yourself. In the same way, if you say I only like ideas of now, you're limiting yourself, because ideas don't really have, they have the way you express them has an era, but the actual idea itself, if you listen to it and then you take it into your mindset, you're going to translate that old idea to new. So be open to eras. People are always drawn into scenes. That's what they call them here, scenes. And basically we're this kind of people, you're that kind of people, and it becomes an us versus them mentality. You guys think like this, we don't think like that, we're opposite to you. As I was growing up, when I got to my late teens, early 20s, I fell into something happened in my life, and I got into depression. I couldn't really get out of it, and I tried all the means of today that I know. I went, I had a bit of counseling, I spoke to a friend or two, family members, but I just could not get out of it until I read a particular book. Now, the book was written in the 60s, and it was written by an Indian man. So different culture to me, different era, different set of beliefs, but the book changed my life. Just a choice that I made to be open to something that I generally wasn't open to at the time, and it changed my life. Quite easily, that book spoke to me. How could you ever guess that something written in a different era, different time, different culture, you read it and then it speaks to you? And I've made it a thing now. Maybe every 2 to 3 years, I reread that book. And so you're making this checklist. The person that I need to listen to has to have one, has to look like this, and all this long checklist. In the process, there's only one thing that's getting stopped, and that's you. You need to have the person with a certain skin color, certain gender, certain kind of body type, certain kind of fashion, certain era. All of this for you to learn something. Do you have to wait for someone from your generation, for them to read about Plato, get the idea from there, and then they have to translate it, and then you have to listen to them? You could have done this by just being open. But no, you have to wait till somebody from your own circle gets into it. Are you just a follower? Because now that person has given you the green light. Hey, it's okay to read ancient Greece. It's okay. It's okay to listen to the Igbo proverbs. And it wasn't okay before that. You needed somebody to tell you it's okay to read that, to get ideas, to broaden your horizons. So the next time you want to learn something, especially about us as humans, us as thinking, instead of just dismissing people, this person doesn't really look like my kind of people, this person doesn't really have my culture or my religion. Instead of thinking down those paths, hold on a moment, listen. And as you're listening, take note. There might be a 10-minute video where one idea really hits you. There might be a book where one page just, you're like, wow, I never thought about this that way. Part of our mindset growth is to train ourselves to see opportunity and growth anywhere we look. Hey, you're going to travel to Africa, you're going to meet some people who are really wise. You're going to go to South America, you're going to go to Australia. Doesn't matter where you go. Keep yourself open, because opportunity in mindset growth could come anytime, anywhere. A story about gender and learning. I remember I was in a martial arts club, and we were doing sparring, and there was a team of professionals, and when I say professionals, they were part of the Olympic team, and at the time I was doing taekwondo. And in the team, there were males and females in the team, and they're all like just pre-Olympians, you know, like you're talking next level. And I decided to join the class. And I remember I went up against a Olympian, you know, one of the Olympics team. And as I was fighting with her, I'm thinking, like it's a girl. What am I gonna learn? Or, you know, I have to kind of like show, even though I'm in a class, I'm meant to be thinking about learning. I'm meant to be expanding. And I'm standing there, instead of being tight clenched, I've kind of like got my, you know, my hands relaxed. She saw opportunity. She didn't think twice. Her kick, she kind of faked to my body, then went across my face, hit me. When she hit me, you know, I'd never been kicked in the face before like that. Instantly, I knew how stupid I was behaving. Straight away, I brought my arms up and I thought, you know what? This is a class. You can't come in with those kind of ideas. She taught me a lesson in humbleness. She taught me a lesson in defensive. And I wasn't expecting that lesson at that time. I was closed. So maybe today, when you're consuming your day-to-day things, maybe today go out of your way and say, you know what? I'm going to listen to this genre of music. I've heard of something called jazz, but I've never really heard about it. And, you know, search what's popular in jazz. What's a classic? Listen to it. Hey, blues. I don't know what the blues are. Let me listen to the. Maybe read a book, a page from a book, few quotes from ancient Arabia or ancient Greece or modern day South America, whatever. The point is, go out and try something, then ask yourself, how do I feel about this? Do they express themselves similar to me? Is there something I can learn from that? And hey, here, you're expanding your mindset beyond what's just around you.